Welcome to part two of a four-part series on why some refuse to do business with black-owned businesses. Last week we covered the chief reason, which was slow response time. Today we're going to get into the rest. We'll be right back in 4 minutes. And we are back. Great morning, business owners and managers. Welcome to another awesome episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I am your host, Wes Walters, and on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and I leave you with gems. And if you've been watching long enough, by gems, you know I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. Immediately after this broadcast, you'll be able to take what you've learned and share it with your team, making your team and your business better. That's what we're here for. And if you're going to allocate 30 minutes of your time, you might as well take that knowledge and make use of it, right? All right, so to check in before the lesson, how has everyone's week been thus far? Very productive week for myself. Very productive week. It's February now, and I have relinquished that concept of no caffeine. So there, for the entire month of January, I was, I'm trying to always do better, and caffeine is bad, and I was trying to see if I could function, if I could, minimize coffee, and so in replacement of coffee, when I get that dip after lunch, I would do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. Listen, nothing. Nothing can replace a double shot of espresso. Okay, I've tried it, and just for my productivity, I get the best when I get I'm not an avid coffee drinker, so I don't drink coffee every morning, but I need it after lunch when I had that dip. So push-ups didn't work, pull-ups didn't work. Positive affirmations didn't work. Like, I am not tired. No, I'm tired. So the coffee stays. 1 cup stays after lunch, and that's the end of that story. So one of my friends, Christy Rutherford, she says that's unnecessary suffering. She's like, what? Why would you sign up for unnecessary suffering? But anyway, we're here. So far the week has been good, and the coffee after lunch works. So that's the end of that. We're never gonna try that again. No coffee. What was I thinking? Anyway, so today we're hey, Mr. Todd, I also need a cup of coffee to be sure that I'll have the power to take my absolutely. Like, hey, look, I need that cup of coffee. I need it. It's not a want. Productivity, when I measure at the end of the day, I do an end of the day report. I measure my productivity, and I look at what I was able to complete per day on the days when I don't have that cup of coffee after lunch. Even if I did 1,000 push-ups or 1,000 pull-ups, it's just I'm not as productive. So the coffee stays. All right. So I'm assuming is pronounced Thought. I think that's how it's pronounced. Thought. Mr. Todd, thanks for joining the broadcast from LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about, this is part 2, as the heading says, part 2 on why some choose not to support or to do business with Black-owned businesses. Of course, not sure what part of the country you're in or what part of the world, but here in America, it is Black History Month. And I'm looking at your profile picture. I'm not going to judge, but I don't think that you are from African descent, which is great, because we want to get feedback from those not only who are Black, but those who are not African American, or who not Black as well. Because if you have ever supported a Black-owned business, we would like to know what your nice pronunciation. I am from Hungary. All right, I live in Austria. Austria. How many Black-owned businesses are there in Austria? Forgive my ignorance. I've never been to Austria, and so I don't know. Are there a lot of Black-owned businesses in Austria? Let me know in the comments if you don't mind. And first of all, again, thanks for being here. So as Mr. Todd responds, we're going to do a little recap from last week. So last week we did a survey right before at the end of January to find out what is the main reason why some prefer not to do business with Black-owned businesses. And the results were very surprising. We thought that it was because they're rude. No, comes out the chief reason why some prefer not to do business with Black-owned businesses is the number one reason, and by a landslide, 51%. It's because of slow response time. All right, so Mr. Todd says, I don't know any though I do not live in the cities, but in the countryside in Upper Austria. All right, so he said in Austria, where he lives, there's not a lot of Black-owned businesses. So no worries, he's going to learn something about how business is done here in America or what it's like. So anyway, Graz, they're pretty multicultural cities. All right, Linz, Vienna. Yeah, I've heard of Vienna. Never been to Vienna, but very multicultural cities. Yes. I plan to visit Vienna one day, but yeah, very, very robust cities from what I've heard. But anyway, so moving along, we thought 51% proved that the reason some choose not to do business. He says, but there are many run by Turkish people. Yeah, Turkish people and Black people are not synonymous. They're totally different business in regards to what I've learned is that culture, even from a personal level, on a business level, culture is an operating system. So although you might have someone that looks just like me, that is darker than me, let's say we might have someone that's as dark as this wallet. I mean, Black. I've met people along my journey that make me look like Michael Jackson, that make me look light skinned. I mean, Black. But he grew up in the Dominican Republic. So there was a brother of mine, a friend of mine named Hector. Hector was black as these glasses. But however, he grew up in Dominican Republic. So his operating system was totally different than my operating system. Although if we got both pulled over by the cops, they're like, yeah, you're both Black. In Hector's mind, oh, me Latino. And for whatever reason, I'm not the moral police, but that's the way his operating system said. He said, like, I'm not Black, I am a Latino. And whether you judge him or not, that's not, Hector was still my friend. That was not for me to judge, but I do know a lot of that came from the operating system. The operating system said a totally different thing. And the operating system, on certain things, we were the same, but there was clearly a division when it came to other things. It was like, okay, no, we don't do that. And I'm not doing that. But anyway, the main reason, the chief reason, 51% of why some say that they don't do business with Black-owned businesses is because of the slow response time. That's what the data said. Take away your emotions. The data says, hey, it's slow response time. So today we're going to cover the other two on why some prefer not to do business with Black-owned businesses. Now, again, slow response time. I gave you the panacea for that because that's easy. I'm like, if that's the main reason why some choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses, I said, this is easy. It is not as bad as you think. The media would make you think that, oh my God, these Black people are incompetent. They can't run businesses. They're the worst thing since sliced bread. But based on the data proves that not really. Like, this is fixable. Not only is this fixable, this can be fixed now. You don't have to go to your board. You don't have to get approval. This can be fixed at the speed of now. So when I saw that was the main reason, I was like, oh my God, this is easy. Like, Wes, I can take this burden on my own. So we addressed last week, and if you want to know how to deal with slow response time, go back and watch go to YouTube, subscribe while you're there, and watch last week's video episode. So today, we are the second on the list. Second and third on the list was, so 51% was slow response time. 38%, tied at 38%, was subpar service and overpriced. Subpar service, not subpar product or quality of the product, but subpar service and overpriced. So we're going to separate these two and do the subpar service by itself. Now, there's a difference between customer service, and customer experience. A lot of people feel that they're the same, and sometimes they use simultaneously, but they're not the same. There's a difference between customer service and customer experience. Now, from the survey, because there was a section for subpar quality of product or service. There was a section for an option on the survey was subpar quality of product. That's not what this is. There was also a section for subpar quality of service. That's where they got wrong. That's where 38% came. It says, what does the data say about the reason for slow response time? And what is the correlation between skin color and response time? If this was a topic already, feel free to skip over the answer. Yes, you're going to have to go back and watch last week's. Go to my YouTube page. Go to my YouTube page. And I would tell you just look at it here in LinkedIn on my wall. But I want you to go to YouTube and subscribe. So go to YouTube at my name, Wes Walters, and you're going to see last week's show. And you can watch and see what the data says about last week's show. I appreciate you subscribing while you're there. Now, again, so subpar service, what this is customer experience is offense. Customer service is defense. Let me say that again so that you can understand. Customer experience is being proactive, creating an atmosphere and an environment for success. Customer service now is when things go wrong, when there's a service failure, how do you deal with it? So based on the data is saying one of the second most reason why we don't do business with Black-owned businesses is because when things go wrong, they don't know how to recover. I think this is great. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this feedback is so vital because it removes the myths that the reason is because of this. The reason is because he's from Chicago, I'm from Atlanta. The reason is because he's from New York, I'm from LA. We don't do. That's what the media would make you think. Hey, great morning, Naya. But the results say, the survey says, no. The main reason, the second most reason why 38% of why we choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses is because when there's a service failure, they do a poor job in recovering. That's what subpar service is, meaning your service, not your experience, not customer experience. When things go wrong, your customer service, when I say, hey, I want to speak to customer service because something is wrong, that department does a horrible job in rectifying the issue. And that's easy because I have an acronym for fixing this. It's easy. It's OPUL. C. OPUC. The first, when there's a service failure, is that you own the problem. Everybody take notes. If I say gem, that means this is a gem. This is a gem. You want to take notes on this. What do you do when there's a service failure? The first thing you do is own the issue. Now, I can see based on the data how this is an issue. Here is why. And I can, you're speaking in a broad brush. You're painting with a broad brush. Yes, I'm Black. I can do that. I can speak for not all Black people that look like me. I would say taking accountability, we would agree, is an issue in some Black communities. And so the data, again, in order for us to heal and move forward, you're gonna have to get away from your emotions. You can't be all uptight. I need you to bring it down. I can see the comments already. Oh my God, why would you say that? You're disgrace. Calm down, man. Like when I see men in the comments acting like that, I get real suspect. Like, why are you so emotional, man? Calm down, bro. So let's study the data and take our emotions away. Like, there's no reason a man should be in the comments commenting like that. Like, oh, you're making, brother, take it down, please. I am here to help. I put out the survey. This is not my survey. This is what the people said. And we're going to take the data and analyze it like intellectuals and make the best of it. So if we take away our emotions, we can come out with a solution. Ranting in the chat is not a good idea. Like, that does nothing except so. But anyway, so the data says subpar service. Now, again, this is easy because what is highlighting, again, service is what happens when there's a service failure. When I want to speak to customer service, you say I want to speak to customer service when things are going bad. So this is easy. I have a four-step method on how to deal with service failures. The first is own the issue. Everybody just type O in the comments. You own the issue. You don't try to blame it on somebody else. You don't try to say, well, we only did this because. No. You own it. When you try to justify it, it just makes it worse. Say, hey, we dropped the ball. We own it. First thing you do is own the problem. Second, is you let the customer or the client know the plan in rectifying. Oh man, thank you, Mr. Todd. You let the customer know the reason, the plan to rectifying the issue. Second, again, the second letter is P. So the first is O, which is own the issue. The second is P. You let the customer or the client know what the plan is in rectifying the issue. If you're with me, type P for plan. Let them know the plan in rectifying the issue. The third is give them an update. If this is something that cannot be rectified immediately, you give the client or the customer an update. You let them know, hey, I didn't forget you. I didn't abandon you. I know you see me over here working on this project, but yours is still being handled. So you constantly give the customer a update on what's going on. Now, it's very important that you give the customer an update before they reach out to you. If they reach out to you first, then you miss the turn. You miss that opportunity. You want them to know that, hey, this issue is important to me. It's paramount, and it's at the top of my mind, and I'm constantly working on it, and you're going to know that I'm working on it. So the third letter is P, plan. So the first letter is O, you own it. The second letter is P, you let them know what the plan. The third letter is U, update, you give them an update. And the fourth letter is C. So it's OPUC. C is concession. Yes. Yes. I always teach my students, if you drop the ball, if there's a service failure, let's just say the service failure was you broke the pen. You cannot feel that you've rectified the issue. So you broke this pen. That was the issue. And in shipping, the pen got broken. So you cannot feel that you've rectified the issue by just giving them a new pen. No, that is a huge injustice. Think about the time. Think about the reason they needed this pen. And because it was damaged, they missed the opportunity. They missed the conference. They missed impressing. Let's just say this is $1,000 pen, and they wanted to impress a client on the day of the sign-in, but the pen was broken. So they missed that opportunity. So just giving them a new pen does not rectify the issue. So giving them a new pen brings them back to zero. The damaged pen takes them into the negative. The replacement pen brings them back to zero. So you have to overcompensate. You have to overcompensate. Let me know if you guys are understanding that. So the guys on Instagram, damaged pen, they're in the negative. Replacement pen, they're back to zero. You now have to overcompensate for bringing them back to zero for the damaged pen. Does that make sense? A lot of time business owners feel that, well, if you were late, or the food was cold, we give you new food, everything should be fine now. No, there's a concession that needs to be had, a concession. So the fourth letter of this process in when there's a service failure is concession, C. So the first letter is O, P, U, C. Own it. Let the customer know what the plan is. You give them an update, and C, a concession. Absolutely always give more than what is expected. Oh man, this guy is a genius. This guy must be a customer experience expert in Austria. All right, so now we've addressed what to do in a service failure. Now the second portion of why some choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses, matched at 38% again, was we feel that the product or service is overpriced. Oh yeah, if you were sensitive before, now you're really about to get sensitive. You're about to be like, oh, I hate this guy. Because let's unpack that. A lot of what I've learned over the years of why some feel that it's overpriced is because you have your own, let me look at the camera. You have your own limiting beliefs that you need to unpack. You have your own limiting beliefs that are keeping you trapped in that sunken place. Yes, I said it. It's overpriced. According to what? Is Louis Vuitton overpriced? Is Gucci overpriced? These are not rhetorical questions. I need answers, because you never seem to say that those things are overpriced. The Bentleys are not overpriced. The Benzes are not overpriced. But ironically, anything that has to do with the black-owned business is overpriced. Let's just deal with that head on. Again, a lot of that has to do with your own limiting beliefs and embracing a poverty mindset. We're going to talk about it. We're going to speak truth to power here. It's okay. Again, get away from your emotions, brother. Please get away from your emotions. Yes, it is a broad brush. Oh, you're typecasted. Yes. Guess what? All businesses do this. If you're under 25, your insurance is going to be high. Are insurance companies painting with the broad brush? Do they say, well, all 25-year-olds, people under 25 are high risk? I was under 25, and looking back, I'm like, yeah, I was high risk. But do you have a 25-year-old that's not risky? Of course you probably do. Of course, like my son is not as high risk as my daughter. It's crazy. My son is the safe one. My daughter, very high risk when it comes to driving. So there are some people who are not high risk, but the insurance companies paint with a broad brush. They say, hey, if you're under 25, chances are everybody is going to pay higher premium for insuring someone under 25. So yes, being broad in general is normal. Most companies and industries do it. Okay? So yes, if you want to say I'm painting with a broad brush, okay, I'll take that. But a lot of the whole concept of, overpriced is because of your own limiting beliefs, and you have embraced a poverty mindset. Yeah, let that sink in. I know you thought it was going to be some customer experience answer. No, poverty mindset. A lot of that comes from, our experience here in these continental United States or throughout the diaspora in regards to slavery. We were taught that, hey, the white man's ice is colder. It's okay. So if you got to juxtapose the white man's ice and the black company's ice, the white company's ice has to be cold. Of course, it's from the white man. Mr. Todd from Austria, you're seeing a little bit, you're getting the insight onto, the psychology of some black consumers here in America and throughout the diaspora. So yes, some companies do provide subpar, overpriced, subpar for the price. Yes, but the majority, from because I've done studies before, the majority is tied to a poverty mindset, and they are embracing their own limiting beliefs, and they feel that, again, hey, the white man's ice is colder. It's okay. That's not okay, but we want to address this head on and not sissy-foot around it, because this is what it is. And I think the problem why we're still having these conversations in 2023 is because we've been sissy-footing around the conversation. We don't want to, be blunt and say this is the reason, because we don't want to offend white people. We don't want to offend green people like Shrek. We don't want to offend blue people like the Smurfs. That's the issue, because we've not addressed the issues head on. Well, I'm going to address the issues head on. Hey, a lot of what you're saying is overpriced is because of your own poverty mindset. I need you to get out of that sunken place, because a lot of the times it's not overpriced. It's because you feel that white ice is colder. It's okay. Own it. Go back 10 minutes ago. Said the first thing is owning. Don't justify it. Don't say, well, because I didn't have my dad in my life. No, just say, hey, own it. Let it sink in. Own it. Own that. It's okay. So you got to realize that we dealt with a lot after slavery. We had to deal with Reconstruction. We had to deal with redlining. We had to deal with the civil rights. We had to deal with all these things to get us where we are right now. So it's not just like, you're free now, get over it. A lot of that was psychological damage. Why we still are experiencing this today. Like, hey, yeah, this product, same identical product, same two black pens. This one was made by a white guy. This one was made by a black guy. The white guy has to be superior. Same black pen. But a lot of that is psychological. It has nothing to do with the product. Now, are there occasions where it is overpriced? Yes, but I believe in premium price. Okay, said so interesting. Really, I used to work with behavior-based go-to-market strategies. and was looking for a pattern on the irrational decision making of drivers. Yet this surprised me. What you just told. Yes, absolutely. A lot of this, and again, I'm not sure what race relations are like in Austria. So I am speaking out of ignorance. I don't know. What I'm speaking to, this data were the people from that did this survey. Most were in the continental United States, throughout the Caribbean, and some in Canada and the UK. Like differences between Skoda and Volkswagen. Same car, yet not the same. Yeah, exactly. Perfect example. Perfect example. So yeah, the people that replied to this survey were in the continental United States, UK, Canada, and the Caribbean. So none in, I'm positive no one from Austria participated in the survey. But again, a lot of this is what you're not aware of being a Caucasian, is a lot of this is some of the results of slavery. That we have blacks, even with their great job, great life, in 2023, years later after slavery, are still dealing with some of the effects of slavery. Like, hey, the white man ice has to be colder. There is no way black people can make ice like the white man. This is real, and it's okay. And again, these conversations have been hush, 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 but let's address it. Let's get it over with. It's okay. Now, in regards to having customers that feel that your products are overpriced, what you have to do is educate your customers or consumers. The quickest way to deal with the reason they feel that it's overpriced, like let's just say, see, this was, I saw this at one of my favorite stores, Z Gallery. You're like, Wes, your favorite store is Z Gallery? One of my favorite stores. Tapping into my feminine side, right? So I saw this and I thought this was, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with this skull. But it was an iced out skull. I was like, this is dope. I don't know what it's for, but I saw it and I was like, I want it. Did I mean to spend $100 on a skull that I can't do anything with? No, but it's a great conversation starter. When someone comes in and they see my office, the first thing they see is the skull. What does the skull do? Nothing. It opens, I guess you can put paper in it, I guess. You can put water caps in it. It stirs water top bottles. That's what the skull does. I bought the skull because I thought it was unique. It's iced out skull. What does it do? Nothing. But it's a great conversation starter. So I bought it because I thought it was cool. Now, you have to educate your customers on why this should cost $100. It pains me that I paid $100 for something that does nothing, right? But part of getting the value of this so that your customers don't feel that it's overpriced, you got to educate them. You got to be like, hey, these stones came from Benin or from Mali. They were hand dug by the people of Mali. The teeth were, handcrafted. So you got to educate them and let them know, hi, this is why this skull costs $100. It's not just a piece of skull, a piece of nonsense, which I think it is. It's a pretty piece of nonsense. It looks great. It's iced out skull, right? But you have to educate your consumers and say, hey, the reason this costs $100 is because it was handmade. It has a unique hinge. This hinge on the back is made with the same material that they make the space shuttles in. Not that I want to go to space, but you got to educate them on why this costs $100. Transgenerational and socializing thing. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Mr. Thought. So educating your consumers. Now, there's big money in educating your consumers. And let's bring that out. Let me show you why educating your consumers is a good thing for you. Very good idea. Hold on. I'm going to show you why. Definitely. Let me get my notes here. I thought I had it up. Thought I did. All right, great. So here it is. These are the notes. Consumers are 131%. 131%, not 100. 131% more likely to buy from a brand straight after they have engaged with early educational content. So what does this mean? Chances are, like if you go to Home Depot, Home Depot I thought is a store, is a store here in America where you can get all the stuff you need to keep your house looking the way it needs to be. So if you go to a Home Depot and there's drills, or let's go Apple Store. There's Apple stores in Austria. So the whole concept of having the Apple computers and iPhones there, that's an educational process. And again, consumers are 131% time more likely to purchase once they play with the product. You feel that, hey, it's just here for display. No. This is educational. Most of the people playing with the iPhones are trying to do something that they want to know if I can do it on this computer. You got to think of a lot of people that are coming from the PC world, coming over to Mac. How do I do this on a Mac? Chances are, Apple knows this, that there are 131%. It's almost like if you touch this computer, you're going to buy it. It's money in the bag. If you touch this iPhone, you're going to buy it. So Apple knows this. 131% chance. There's big money, like I said, in education. So educating your consumers on why this product costs this much, they are 131% time more likely to make the purchase if they understand, oh, this is the reason why it costs this much. This is the reason why this useless skull costs $100, because the stones are from Mali and it has a hinge that is made out of the same material as the space shuttle. Not that I want to go take the skull to the space, but if I did, that's why it costs so much. All right. So to make them understand why it's valuable and not expensive, show the ups and give it proper VP. Man, this guy, you're going to be the co-host of this show, Mr. Todd. You're going to be the co-host because you know exactly everything I need to teach about customer experience. Exactly. Like he said, you want to show them and help them understand why it's valuable. The why. Say, hey, this computer costs 3 times what a Windows computer costs because it can do this. And you're going to get the lifetime of a Mac computer. You're going to get 8 years. All of my Macs, I got like 3 Macs. They're going to all give me 8 years. Easy. So it costs more, but you get it. It gets to last longer. Now, let's continue. 2/3 of companies compete on customer experience. So 2/3 of the companies compete on customer experience, and 73% of people that say customer experience is a deciding factor on making a purchase. So 2/3 of the businesses out there compete on customer experience. So most businesses take this seriously. Of those 2/3, 73% say that, hey, the customer experience was a deciding factor in their purchase. So customer education is a great method for addressing what's frequently asked. Like if you have a frequently asked question page, customer education is a great way to quell those questions because, hey, you're educating them, they're touching, they're interacting with the product, as well as you're educating them to say, hey, this is how this product can be used in your life. Once you educate them and indoctrinated them into your understanding of why this useless skull costs $100, they're more likely, someone like me, to be like, hey, I want a useless skull that's going to sit on my desk and do nothing, because you've educated me about, hey, these stones are from Mali. It's made with the same ingredient material as the space shuttles, and it just looks badass. I mean, this is a badass skull. I don't care what you say. I just thought it was badass. I'm like, this is gonna, every time someone comes into my office, the first thing they see is the skull. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know, but it costs $100. All right, so how do you educate your consumers? One way, first way is type of one if you're ready for the first way. The first way is through blogs and articles. Yes, just write a blog, educating your consumers. Hey, we at icedoutskulls.com, we have the best iced out skulls. Why do we have this iced out skull? Because iced out skulls are cool and they're badass and they're a great conversation starter. And everyone that comes into your office is going to question you about this iced out skull. Yes. And so you write a blog, you write articles about having iced out skulls. Second way is through videos and screen recordings. You can have video screen share of, hey, this is why iced out skulls cost $100. Because again, educating your consumers more. Again, they're more likely to oblige to the price if you tell them why it costs that much. A third way of educating your consumers is through webinars. Similar to this, you're educating, doing lives or doing lives, going live on social media counts as a webinar. So of course you can have planned webinars, of course, or you can just have going live. Fourth way of educating your consumers is user-generated content. How many times have you go to Amazon and you purchase this wallet and you have user content of people who have this wallet? They make their own videos and say, "Hey, I bought this wallet. It's perfect. I used to have a wallet the size of this book, and now I have this type of wallet, and all of my credit cards just go, and it's the fraction of the size of a phone. It's so this user content of me endorsing this product by myself is educational as well. And more, here's the thing, Amazon has proved that more people purchase after watching user created content than the official video from the company. Yeah, people want to see, how do people just like me use this product, and is it valuable? A fifth way of incorporating education is try-ons. How many times have you been to YouTube? If you're watching this on YouTube, you see women doing Fashion Nova try-ons, or you name it. What's a female store? My favorite store, Victoria's Secret try-ons. I love it. Yes. You see women doing the Victoria's Secrets. You're like, Wes, I thought, I know you're probably like, Wes, I thought Z Gallery was your favorite store. No, that's one of my favorite stores. My favorite stores of all time is Victoria's Secret. So if you go to YouTube and or any of these channels, you can see women doing Victoria's Secret try-ons. That's educating other consumers on, hey, this is how this bra fits. This is how this thong fits. This is how this fishnet fits. Oh, shout out to fishnets. We love fishnets, right? So that's education as well. And again, consumers are 131% chance increases a possibility of buying the product, or if they see that it was that you educate them on the product. 131% chance of them buying the product if, one, they read an article or a blog about it. Two, they see a video about it. Three, there's a webinar or you go live educating them. User-generated content. Or five, try-on, where someone is actually playing with the outfit. So this is, what's also good is you might see someone who buys a sport jacket like this, right? And said, hey, this is what I look like when I'm going to a casual event. Or this same blazer, this is what I look like when I'm in a three-piece suit. So me doing a try-on for this jacket endorses this jacket, and others who are watching this jacket says, hey, man, I thought the jacket was only limited to a three-piece suit. But no, he's wearing it with the polo. I'm wearing this with the polo. I'm going against the fashion faux pas, right? You're never supposed to wear blazers with a polo shirt, but I am. And yes, others are saying, hey, we were taught that you're not supposed to wear polo shirts with a blazer, but Wes Walters is doing it, so it must be okay. Yes, I am breaking all of the fashion faux pas, and I'm wearing a blazer with a polo shirt. Yes, you can do that. And by educating your consumers, again, the others that are watching are more, or 131% chance likely to supporting or buying that product. Shelly, you're just turning in. You're going to have to watch the replay. We're summing up right now. But anyway, in review, after the survey went out, last week we said the number one reason why some choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses is because of slow response time. If you want to see how I expounded on that, you want to go back and watch last week's video. Go to YouTube. While you're on YouTube, subscribe to Wes Walters' channel and give a thumbs up. Now, today, 38%, tied for 38%, was subpar quality in the service, not subpar quality in the product. It's totally different. Subpar quality in the service and the product was 11%. Only 11% of the people surveyed said, hey, the reason I choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses is because the product is less quality. Only 11%, so that's not an issue. The 38% is subpar in service, meaning when there is a service failure, when that Black-owned business drops the ball, how do they recover? How do they deal with the issue? Do they say, hey, we got your money and you're on your own, swim or drown? Or do they actively try to fix this? Based on the data, it's saying that the Black-owned businesses do not actively try to fix this. So today's show was showing those Black-owned businesses, how do you actively deal with the issue? The first is you own. So you type O, own the issue. Do not try to mitigate or shift blame. No, own the issue. Quickly own the issue. I should put it quickly. Own the issue quickly. Second, P, plan. Let the client or the customer know this is the plan that we're going to use to rectify the issue. The third is you give the client or the customer an update. If this is something that's going to take a long time, let them know, hey, I haven't forgotten about you. We're working on it. This is what we're doing. And fourth is C, offer the concession. If you have a service failure, your job is not bringing the client or the customer back to where they were before the service failure. Does not make everything right. You have to overcompensate. When there's a service failure, you go into the negative. Bringing them back to where they are, you're in the zero. Now you need to go into the positive with a concession. So that's it, pretty much. It's that simple. Again, the media would make you think that the issues with Black-owned businesses is that they're just incompetent Black people. Those Negroids don't have the intelligence of running successful businesses. Of course not. That's what the media would say. Based on the data, that is not the case. The data is 51% is that the main reason why we don't support Black-owned businesses is because they're slow. Not slow mentally, but their response time is slow. The second reason, 38%, match that 38%, is because subpar service and we feel that the prices are overpriced. Again, I addressed the pricing issues because a lot of it has to do with your poverty mindset, because Louis Vuitton is not expensive, Gucci is not expensive, Coach is not expensive, but your Black-owned, your fellow Black man's product is overpriced. Interesting. So a lot of that is addressing the poverty mindset and their own limiting beliefs. I need you to get out of that sunken place that you're in. It's okay. You're in a sunken place. Yeah, and West told you that you're in a sunken place because you feel the white man's ice is colder when they're the same ice that freezes at 32 degrees. But anyway, so we addressed the pricing issue. And then again, we dealt with how to educate. How do you get over that? If they feel that it's overpriced, it's because they're simply not educated. Again, a useless $100 skull. I only bought it because it looks good. Like, you got to say, this is gangster. Like, and it has a little head that you can store useful things like water bottle caps. You can put water bottle caps. You can put crystals. You can put chapsticks. See, you got to say, this is great. It looks good, but it's useless. I only bought it because it looks good. It was a great conversation starter. And I don't know what I'm going to do with an iced out skull. But you can go to Z Gallery and get you a useless iced out skull as well. But again, educating the consumer on why this should be $100. Say, hey, these rhinestones, these are not diamonds. These rhinestones are from Mali or Ghana or Nigeria, and it's handmade and crafted to your liking. That's why it costs $100. So once you educated Wes Walters about it, Wes says, oh, now I feel a little better parting ways with my $100 for this useless skull. So by educating your consumers, you get to quell it costs too much. How do you do that? By blogs and articles. Secondly, by doing videos. Third, by doing webinars or going live like this. Fourth, user-generated content. And of course, virtual doing try-ons of the clothes if you have. That concludes this episode, part 2 of 4, on why some refuse to do business with Black-owned businesses. Again, for the entire month of Black History Month, the entire month of February, we're going to be addressing those issues head on. We're not going to sissy-foot around it. We're going to go head on and attack what's the problem. Great show, Mr. Walters. Thanks a lot. I have to go buy a silver skull. No. This is not a silver skull. This is an iced out. See, the ice in America, we call diamonds, even fake diamonds, ice. So this is not a silver skull. It looks silver on camera, but this bad boy is a iced out with rhinestone skull that's useless, that costs $100, right? So don't, if you're going to address it, you need to address it properly. This is not a silver skull. This is a Z Gallery iced out skull. Ice. Okay. But thanks for being here. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm not sure what time it is in Austria right now, but in America, it is 8:51 a.m. So I'm here every 8 a.m. on Wednesdays, and you see me when I go live. Thank you. Share this to everyone in Austria. Now that I know that I have fans in Austria, I appreciate you being here, sir. You were not just here, but you were very engaging, and you participated. And I appreciate your feedback, being not from African descent, but from a Caucasian point of view. And we value your opinion as well, because we want great businesses, not just great businesses to serve a particular group of people. We don't want to just serve Smurfs that are blue. We just don't want to serve the Shreks that are green or the Incredible Hulks. We don't want to serve the black people. We don't want to serve the white people. We want to serve all businesses. Amazon serves all businesses. Apple serves all communities. So we're not just limited to just doing business with blacks. We want to do great business for all. And your feedback is valuable, and we appreciate that. So I would love to see you back here for part three of the 4-part series, because we're doing a episode each week for the month of March, for Black History Month. So we're going to do part three. Part three, we're going to tackle the 33%, which are not being polite and poor customer service. So tune in next week for one of the reasons why some choose not to do business with Black-owned businesses is because they're not polite and because of poor customer service. That's next week's show. It was a pleasure having you here, Mr. Todd. Everyone on LinkedIn, everyone on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. And that's a wrap. Peace.